The player met Darkmoon Princess while passing in front of the Poe mansion in the Dark Forest. Darkmoon Princess said she were here for rescue someone. Then out of nowhere, Lunalessa, Pandora's subordinate, appeared between player and Darkmoon Princess. Lunalessa said that the owner of the mansion Pandora resurrected Levi Arons, who had died in battle with evil king with contract of Agashura, and kept him locked in this house. Darkmoon Princess didn't know about Levi's death in the battle, so she got embarrassed, furious, and yelled not to lie to her. After that, they broke into the mansion with the player to rescue Levi. The player and the Darkmoon Princess, who was walking around the mansion, soon found Levi heading to somewhere. Darkmoon Princess saw Levi and felt happy, so she called Levi's name out loud. But Levi never recognized her and just headed somewhere for provide Pandora refreshment. With a friendly explanation from Lunalessa, Darkmoon Princess knew about Levi's soul was isolated with the world by Pandora's magic. Darkmoon Princess thought Levi will be recovered if she repelled Pandora, who spelled magic on Levi, so headed into Gothic room, Pandora's room, with player. Powerful force collaboration with two, Pandora knocked down. When Darkmoon Princess tried to hit final attack, Levi stood in front of Darkmoon Princess to stop her. Fortunately, Levi already got unraveled the magic by Darkmoon Princess, called Levi's name in previous meetings. Levi persuaded Darkmoon Princess not to kill his savior. Darkmoon Princess already achieved her goal, so she left from the mansion with a bow, and Levi headed to the palace of Alias, telling Pandora that he would be back. After Levi left, Pandora thought about what is the outside world to Levi, who lost emotion instead of resurrection. Then Pandora made conclusion that only one who able to give meaning about the world to Levi is herself. After events with Poe Mansion, player got called from King of Alias, Hezhong, one day. Hezhong, who already heard about players' performances from Darkmoon Princess and Levi, welcomed the player so much, and immediately gave him two missions. One was to find out the whereabouts of the famous adventurer, Iris, and the other was to calm the Ocean King at Vest's site. Player headed to Vest directly and got a sword called Drandal to stop the Ocean King's overload. The sword was unique and similar with the sword that Bankyu took from the pyramid. The truth was, Bankyu brought Drandal, which was sealed in pyramid to prevent Ocean King's repeated overload, but was unable to use it properly in front of Ocean King due to his lack of aptitude. Finally, he got escaped from Vest and gave the Drandal to Xinzong, saying, "Hand over the sword to right person." Luckily, Drandal fitted on player, so he headed straight to the ruins of Kutuka and joined with the Ocean King's mate Gatiasu and Bankyu, who were blocking the king's overload in the cold heart of the ruins. With the player's dramatic performance, Ocean King fell asleep. The three people headed to the heart of Kutuka to negotiate with Koa, the flame witch, who overloaded the king. Upon arriving at Kutuka's heart, Koa attacked them with no time to ask reasons. They decided to calm her to conversation, so they subdued her. After they were able to conversation, they noticed about there were misunderstanding between them. Koa heard a story from Chuen Pam that Gatiasu was overloading Ocean King to destroy Kutuka's jungle. After that, Koa tried to kill King Ocean King to protect the Kukuri people, but failed, and that made Ocean King overloaded. Gattiasu promised that Ocean King will not harm the Kukuri people. Koa believed her words and disappeared into the flames. Later, Gattiasu thanked the player for help solving the case and gave him the approval of Ocean King and allowed him to visit Atlantis. On his way to Atlantis, following Iris' footsteps, the player faced an unknown goal as he walked through the huge ruins that suddenly appeared one day. She disappeared, leaving behind the story that the ruins appeared because of Mawang's strength decline, and the player got interested in the ruins and headed into the monument before the journey of Atlantis. As the player roamed around the ruins, the illusion of unknown girl appeared one more time and led the player to the top of the ruins, saying she'd been waiting for player for a long time. At the ruins, the player, who arrived at the top of the site helping the followers of the goddess Saris and Platina, met the girl's illusion once again. Then player instinctively recognized that she is goddess Saris. Saris were disappearing and remained in a state of light fragrance, but she was waiting for player to succeed her will in between the time gap, because she wanted to give the player all the power she left. Ceres, who gave all her strength, soon disappeared, leaving a message of a request over her descendant, Iris. Player vowed that not to disappoint Ceres in front of the sacred tree, but for unknown reasons, player's memories was sealed by someone. The player, who forgot even he had went the ruins, headed straight to Atlantis. The player who arrived in Atlantis met Anastasia, the mayor of Atlantis. Anastasia provided Iris' route from Atlantis to Asgard via Midgard and gave him a map to Way of Midgard instead of giving him a mission to find humanoid elements from the Chimera research. Player needed the map to Midgard, so he accepted the mission and headed straight to Chimera Research. Upon arrival at the Chimera Research, the player saved a mysterious short-haired woman being chased by a monster. She also got an investigate mission from Anastasia, so she asked to accompany to player. Player accepted her request because they got similar purposes and headed to center of the facility with her. Arriving safely in the center of the Chimera Research, the player found a humanoid element. Somehow, only a case of the device was there and no contents in it. When she saw those situations, her atmosphere was changed and she told her name was Choen Palm, and she suddenly attacked player while saying that she used the humanoid case in the past. Player struggled a hard time with Choen Palm's attack, but then luckily Anastasia and the owner of the battle supplies, McCoy, joined after hearing the uproar from the Chimera Research. Palm told them, "You guys are annoying," and ran away, promising the next time. After battle, player told every stuff that happened at the Chimaria research. Anastasia urgently looked at the computer that Palm used to use and found out that the purpose of Palm was a project to make similar human beings using humanoid elements. Humanoid elements were no longer used for information that Palm was used to use, so no one knew what the purpose of this behavior was. The player who returned with no success to Atlantis after the Chimaria research received the map to Midgard from Anastasia. Instead of heading straight to Midgard, the player headed to Aoichi to tell Darkmoon Princess about meeting with the Palm, and heard an interesting rumor that anybody could gain strength from the summit of the Zenadia ruins on Orca Beach. Player reached at the top of the Zenadia ruins. The player completed his second-class upgrade through a sacred tree with the help of Sister Saris, who somehow recognized him. Was player received the power? Or it became possible to use the power?